Hello, good morning, and welcome to your Feel Good Flow. Yet another Feel Good Flow. Good morning, Amy. I'm going to give it another 2 minutes. Hey, Katie. I'm going to give you all 2 minutes to join in if you're joining in live this morning. And if not, that's okay. If you're joining in after, then feel free to skip the first couple minutes and start when you're ready to start. So, looks like it's you and me so far, Katie. How's it going? If you have the playlist for this class, then go ahead and just pop that on. If you would like, it is in the previous, or my latest story. And just take a bit of time to get yourself set up. And we will be moving through what I like to call a feel-good flow. It kind of started off as a full body flow the first time I did it, and then I kind of started gravitating towards more of a backbend focus class. And it's still a lot of full body, but it has more of a focus on backbending because I just think that is a great way to wake up and a great way to start the day and to start the week. So if you are joining me, then go ahead and just make sure that you have everything that you need. You might want to grab yourself a block, and then when you are ready, go ahead and throw on the playlist, and we'll get started in child's pose. And I will meet you on the mat in one moment. So you can take your knees as wide as you'd like, and just making your way somewhere towards the back of the mat. Taking the knees wide, bringing the big toes to touch, and just reaching your arms forward. Resting your head down onto the mat. Or if your head doesn't touch the mat, you can always stack your hands and rest your forehead on your hands. Go ahead and close the eyes if they're not closed already. And just start to take a few deep breaths. And beginning to establish a nice, smooth, steady rhythm to your breath, so that we can then connect that smooth, steady rhythm to our movements. And can you use that breath right now to just check in with how you feel, with where your body is at, with where your mind is at. And throughout this practice, if you ever feel like you get a little bit lost or you get a bit overwhelmed, you can always use your breath to come right back to you, to the present moment, to where you are, to how you feel. Your breath is always there to help you check in, to help ground you when you need it. And start to slowly extend the arms forward, feeling your elbows begin to lift off of the mat. And then go ahead and walk your hands over towards the right side. So either to the edge of your mat or off of it. You might turn your head and gaze underneath of your right arm. Just taking a couple breaths, feeling some length down the left side of your body. Feeling some space through the rib cage, through the waist. And then begin to walk your hands back through center. Take them all the way over to the left, so either to the edge of your mat or maybe off of it. Head might turn and gaze underneath of your left arm. Send your breath down the right side of the body. Feel it start to open. And slowly walk your hands back through center. So both arms are long, elbows lifted, fingers spread wide. Take one big breath. Can you feel the length through both sides of the waist? And sigh it out and soften. And then on your next inhale, begin to rise up into a plank just on the knees. So the shoulders come slightly ahead of the wrists, spine is long. As you exhale, bend the elbows, lower all the way down to the mat. Inhale, lift your chest for your first little cobra. Legs are strong, shoulders down. And as you exhale, bring yourself back into your child's pose. We're going to do that 2 more times. Inhale, come forward to your plank, shoulders slightly ahead of the wrist, lift the core. As you exhale, lower down to the mat. Inhale, lift the chest, feel your feet press down. And as you exhale, back to child's pose. 1 more time, just like that. Coming back to you in your breath, moving at your own pace. Can you let the breath guide the movement? And the next time you press back into child's pose, we'll tuck the toes and send your hips back and up into your first downward dog of the practice. Moving it around a little bit, giving the hips and the head a little shake. Maybe pressing one heel down and the other. Just checking back in with the body, with what it needs today. We'll come back to stillness when you're ready. Spread the fingers nice and wide. And let's do a few more little flows from downward facing dog. So as you inhale, lift the heels, shift forward to plank. Knees can stay lifted or they can drop down wherever you are. Legs stay strong. As you exhale, bend the elbows, lower to the mat. Inhale to a cobra, shoulders down, legs are strong. Exhale, press back through child's, tuck the toes, lift the hips, downward dog. Couple more times. Inhale, shift forward, find your plank. As you exhale, keep the spine long and lower. As you inhale, lift the chest, cobra, or maybe you straighten the arms, lift the thighs, upward dog. And as you exhale, lift the hips, back and up, downward dog. 1 more time again with your breath. Choose what option is best for you this morning. We will meet back in downward facing dog. Taking a nice big breath in and let it go. And then let's lift the right leg high, 3-legged dog. Point the toes, let the hip open a little. You might roll out the ankle, making a few circles with that right foot. Keep the hips lifted nice and high. And then bring your gaze up towards your hands. Step your right foot up. Step your left foot up. So you're in a forward fold, feet hip width apart. Just take a moment or 2 to sway gently side to side. Lengthen out the back body. And then come to stillness in the center. Knees can be as bent as you need them to be. Arms circle behind, fingers interlace. Let your arms float away from your body. So feel the weight forward into the balls of your feet. Your shoulder blades squeeze a little bit. And then keeping the hands clasped, take an inhale, halfway lift, legs super strong, lift the core. As you exhale, begin to fold, soften the knees, release the hands down. Inhale to rise all the way up, palms touch. And as you exhale, bring your hands to your heart. Let's take a big breath in, reach it back up, maybe lift the chest a little higher, and exhale to fold all the way down. Inhale, create that length in the spine, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Plant the hands, step it back into plank. From knees or toes, shift forward a little and then lower down to the mat. Lift your chest up to your back bend, cobra or upward dog. And then hips lift back and up into your downward facing dog. This time, from the downward facing dog, we take the left leg up. Point the toes, allow your hip to open. And then again, you might circle the ankle around a couple times in one direction. And switching directions, just warming up the joints a little bit. And then gaze up towards your hands, step your left foot up. Step your right foot up, come back to your forward fold, feet hip width, head heavy, knees soft. We'll circle the arms behind, again, fingers interlace. Arms float away, elbows can be bent, you might squeeze the palms together gently. Let's take a breath in, lengthen the spine, reach the chest forward, the hips back. As you exhale, fold, release the clasp, head heavy. Inhale to stand all the way up, pressing down into the feet, maybe a little back bend, hips forward, heart high. Exhale, hands to heart. Let's keep moving. Inhale, reach it up, arms overhead. Exhale to fold, drop the head. Inhale to lengthen, feel the thighs and the kneecaps lift. Exhale to fold, plant the hands, step it back right into downward dog. From this downward dog, soften the knees down onto the mat. So the knees are underneath of the hips. We're coming into melting heart. So begin to crawl the hands forward to the top corners of the mat and start to drop the forearms, the elbows, and the forehead down to the mat. Take a couple breaths here as you reach your chest towards the floor. Hips can stay high above the knees, or if it's too intense, you can slide your hips closer to your heels. If you're feeling any pinching in the shoulders, taking your arms a little wider. Take a few big full breaths. Start to feel the front of the body open. And then slowly walk the hands underneath of the shoulders. Press back into downward facing dog. And we come back into three-legged dog. So inhale the right leg high. This time bend the knee, open the hip. So your right foot falls towards your left hip. And then begin to circle that right knee around a couple times. Again, warming up through the joints. Keep drawing a nice big circle with the right knee. Switching directions. If you haven't already, keep pressing evenly into both hands. Hips stay nice and high. And once you've evened it out, look up in between the hands, step your foot up as far as it'll go, and then drop the left knee down so you're in a low lunge. Walk the hands forward slightly as you breathe in, send the heart and the hips forward. And as you breathe out, pull the hips back, right leg long. One more time like that. Inhale to walk it forward, bending into the right knee. Exhale, walk it back, lengthen the right leg. This time as you inhale, walk it forward, bend into the right knee. Take your right hand to the inside of the right foot, either fingertips or palm down, and start to sweep the left arm all the way up and over, reaching to the top of the mat. If this is too much, you can always bring your right forearm onto your right thigh. Think about lengthening through the left side, reaching through the fingertips, rolling the left shoulder back. Finding your breath, coming back to that steady, mindful rhythm. And slowly begin to bring both hands down to the inside of the right foot. Heel toe the right foot a little bit wider. Spread the fingers wide, push into the floor, and that keeping that right leg bent, you'll begin to kick the leg back so the right heel presses up and back. At the same time, lift the heart. So you're in a little back bend, pressing the right heel high. As you exhale, point the toes, round in, knee to nose. Couple more. Inhale, press the right heel up and back. Feel a little back bend, gazing forward. As you exhale, point the toes, curl it in, knee to nose. One more time, press the heel up and back, draw the shoulder blades down away from the ears, and then point the toes, knee to nose. This time as you kick back, tuck the left toes, lift the hips, three-legged dog. Then step your right foot up, step your left foot up, feet hip width, forward fold right away, hands clasped behind the back. Squeeze the palms together, arms float away from the body. Inhale, halfway lift with the clasp, legs stay strong. Exhale to fold, release the hands. Inhale to rise all the way up, palms touch, little back bend if you'd like. And exhale, hands to heart. Let's do that on the other side. So inhale to reach all the way up. And exhale to fold. Let go. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Keep the back of the neck long. Exhale to fold. Bring the hands down. Either flow or step right back into downward facing dog. Choose your journey. We meet in downward facing dog. This time lifting the left leg up once you're there. Bend the knee, open the hip. And then begin to circle that left knee a couple times in one direction. Keep pushing the floor away, keeping the hips high, your spine long. Switch directions if you haven't already. Stay with your breath. And once you've evened it out, step your left foot up. Drop your right knee down, back into your low lunge. Take a breath in, walk the hands forward, pull the heart forward. As you exhale, pull it back, little half splits. One more time, inhale, crawl forward to your low lunge. Exhale, walk it back to your half splits. This time, take it forward, bending back into the left knee. Left hand again to the inside of the left foot. Right arm starts to sweep all the way up and over. Roll the right shoulder back. And again, if you need to, you can take that left forearm onto the thigh. But think about creating more space from your right shoulder down to your right hip. How can you create that space and that length? Now look down at your left foot. Both hands come down to the inside of the foot. Heel toe it a little bit wider to give yourself more space. Push your hands away from the floor. Keeping the left leg bent. Strong inhale as you kick it back, pressing your heel up, lifting the heart. As you exhale, point the toes, curl in, knee to nose. 2 more times. Feeling the muscles along the spine engage. And then rounding, curling in tight. Last time like that, press the heel up, shoulders down, gaze forward. And then pull it in, knee to nose. This time, let's tuck the back toes, strong kick up, 3-legged dog. And then step the left foot up. Step the right foot up. Back into your forward fold, feet hip width, head heavy. Bring the arms behind, hands clasp, arms float away. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Feel the belly button lift to the spine. Exhale to fold, release the hands down. Inhale to rise all the way up, arms overhead, palms touch. Exhale, hands to heart. Let's take a big breath in, reach it up. And then exhale, let it all go. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Exhale, fold, plant the hands. Step back to downward dog. From your downward dog, gently drop the knees down underneath of the hips, coming back into melting heart. So go ahead, crawl the hands forward a little wider if you need to, if you know you need more space in the shoulders, and then begin to melt forehead, chest down towards the floor. Taking a few breaths in stillness in this posture. If you'd like a little bit more intensity for the shoulders and the upper body, you can press into the hands, lift the elbows off of the mat. If that is too much, you definitely do not have to do it. Can you feel a little bit of lift in the low belly? As your belly button hugs a little closer to the spine, keep reaching your heart towards the mat. And slowly begin to slide hands under shoulders. Let's lift back up into downward facing dog. We're coming into one more round. We add on a little bit more. So let's lift the right leg high. Bend the knee, open the hip. Remember, everything is just an option, so you're welcome to stay here. Maybe you peek over your left shoulder, see if you can find those right toes with your eyes. Maybe you flip over, right toes land behind you. If you flip over, take a moment to drop your hips down. pressing into all the parts of you touching the floor. So the feet, the left hand, and then as you inhale, start to lift the hips, lift the chest, reach your right arm back. Squeezing the glutes, squeezing the shoulder blades, opening the front of the body. Bring your gaze to the top of the mat. Right hand plant if it's not already there. Pull the right knee in towards your chest and softly step it through. Coming into a lunge, bending into the right knee. Try to keep the back leg lifted, arms reach high. Inner thighs hug together, so strong through that front right heel. And then begin to open up. We're coming into reverse warrior. So the left foot pivots flat, right arm reaches up and back. Left hand can either slide down the left leg or it can wrap around for your right hip for a half bind. Keep rolling the right shoulder back, lifting the chest up, bending into the right knee. Staying with you and your breath, feeling your heartbeat. So many good things to notice, to feel. Let's begin to windmill the arms all the way into side angle. So you can either rest your right forearm onto your thigh or slide your fingertips down to the floor or a block. A left arm reaches up and over towards the top of the mat. Big stretch through the left side of the body. Really press into the outer edge of the left foot. Roll the left shoulder back. How can you create more length and space down the left side of the body? Now bring your gaze down to your right foot. Both hands land to the inside of the foot. Heel toe your right foot wide. Both hands are planted, fingers spread wide. You can either drop your left knee and kick back into your three-legged table, or you can keep the back knee lifted, kick back into this three-legged dog with the knee bent, foot flexed. As you exhale, pull the knee in to the nose. If you're in your dog, keep your hips high. Inhale, press it up either in your dog or your table to your little back bend. Just gaze forward, be mindful of the neck. As you exhale, point the toes, knee pulls in, belly button to spine. One more like that, wherever you are, strong kick through the heel, gaze forward, and pull the knee in towards the nose. And this time, let's kick it back, straighten out the right leg, and then step it through to the top. And then step your left foot up. So feet hip width, forward fold. Arms circle behind, again, hands clasp, fingers interlace. Inhale, create that space in the spine. Exhale to fold and let it go. Release the hands. Inhale to rise all the way up. Arms sweep high. Exhale, hands to heart. One more time, other side. Inhale to reach up. And exhale to fold. Inhale again, lengthen, strong spine and core. Exhale, fold, plant the hands, either flow or step back to your downward facing dog. Once you're in your downward facing dog, carry the left leg high. Bend the knee, open the hip. Foot falls towards your right hip. Again, you can stay here. You maybe peek over your right shoulder, see if you can find the left toes with your eyes. Maybe you shift the weight to the right side as you step your left foot behind you, lower the hips down for a moment. Press into the right hand, the right foot, the left toes as you lift the hips up and back. Reaching through the left fingertips, maybe gazing at your right hand if you need a little bit less intensity for the neck. Now wherever you are, plant the left hand. You'll bend into the right knee. Pull the left knee in towards your nose. Nice and tight. And then step your left foot high. Feet are hip width apart. Reach your arms up into your high lunge. Take a moment here to ground into the feet, to settle into your breath. And then we'll open up into reverse warrior. So right foot spins flat, a left arm reaches up and back. Right hand can slide down the right leg or wrap around for your left hip. Taking a little half bind. Keep bending into the left knee. Left shoulder rolls back as the chest reaches high. Again, take a few breaths here. And start to reach the arms forward and back, nice and long. We'll take left forearm to left thigh or fingertips or palm to the floor for side angle. Sweep the right arm up and over, reach to the top of the mat. Right foot presses down, really root into the pinky toe edge of the foot. And then roll the right shoulder back. How can you create more space here? Where can you breathe into? Gaze down to your left foot. Right hand plants. Both hands are nice and firmly gripping the mat. Heel to the left foot wider and either kick it back into your three-legged table or your three-legged down dog with the knee bent, foot flex. Press through the heel. You've got this. Pull the knee in towards the nose. 2 more times. Whatever option you choose, make it work for you. Move with your breath. Connect that steady rhythm of your breath to your steady movements. You've got 1 more. Pull the knee in. And then strong kick up. Lengthen out the left leg for a moment. And step it up. Top of the mat. Step your right foot up. Forward fold. Drop the head. Arms behind. Fingers interlace. Inhale, find length in the spine. Exhale, fold and let it go. Inhale to rise all the way up, arms overhead. Exhale, hands to heart. Okay, this time reach up and fold down. Halfway lift and fold. Bring your hands down, step right back into dog. Lower the knees down to the mat. And then keeping your hips above your knees, walk your hands back. Lift the upper body, so shoulders, hips, knees stacked one on top of the other. Toes can be tucked behind you. We'll take the hands to the base of the spine, so you're supporting here right at the low back. Can you feel your thighs squeeze, your inner thighs lift as your chest begins to lift? Coming into a camel, find 1 point to focus, somewhere up. You don't have to relax the head back the whole way if that doesn't feel good for your neck. Squeeze the shoulders together, the elbows close. Feel space from shoulder to shoulder. The front body opening, expanding as you breathe into it. Slowly rise back up. Lower hips to heels. Walk the hands forward. Take a moment or 2 in child's pose with knees as wide as you'd like. Give yourself a few big, slow, steady breaths here. And again, reminding yourself that if and when you feel overwhelmed, if and when things get to be too much, you can always come back to your deep breaths. And your breath will bring you back to that present moment, to you and to how you feel. You can stay here or you can join me for a second set of camel, slowly lifting the head, walking the hands back, rising up. So knees, hips, shoulders stacked, hands right at the low back, base of the spine. Toes can be tucked or untucked. Feel the inner thighs squeeze as the chest begins to lift, shoulders slide down away from the ears. Drawing elbows in, lifting your heart high. Feeling your breath, feeling your body. If you feel warmed up, if the spine feels good, you can reach one hand to one heel at a time, or you can stay right here. Being mindful that the hips are still pressing forward, the chest is still reaching high. Remind yourself it doesn't matter how deep you go. Just be where you need to be. Slowly coming back up if you're in your camel. And then we'll come into embryo this time. So hips to heels, knees and feet together if you can. Hands on the floor for support as you round forward. Forehead rests on the mat. Hands rest by your feet. And if the forehead doesn't touch the floor, you can slide a pillow or a block underneath of your forehead or stack your hands. And give yourself a few moments here to really breathe, to be with everything that may have come up. To notice, to accept, to acknowledge. And then maybe let go. Let go of something that came up that you don't need. Or any little voice or anything that's telling you that you didn't do enough. Just letting that go right here, reminding yourself that you are enough. And slowly begin to slide hands underneath of the shoulders. Press yourself all the way up. And then we'll make our way onto our backs. So gently swinging the legs around. Coming on down to your backside. And you might take the knees gently side to side. You might give yourself a nice big hug in. We're going to take a final twist. So allow your knees to fall over towards the right hand side. Take a moment or two if you'd like to stack the legs or twist the legs or any variation of twist that feels nice for you right now. You might let the head turn away from the knees. Rest your hands wherever comfortable for you. And then notice that length and that space that you've created in the body. Through the spine. As we open up a lot through the front side of the body in this practice. Notice if you feel more awake, more alive, more energized. Maybe a bit more balanced. If the head is turned, bring it on back to center, followed by the legs, and we'll just slowly come into the other side. Taking the knees over to the left. Again, any variation of twist that feels good for you. Taking a moment or two to get settled in, to drop the shoulders towards the mat, to let the head be heavy, to close the eyes. Soften through the jaw and the face, between the eyebrows. Taking a few moments just to soak it all in this twist, to balance out the back bends. And then slowly bring the head to center if it's turned, followed by the legs. And give yourself any final movement that feels good to you. Maybe one more hug in, maybe a happy baby, whatever it might be. Taking the last few moments to give yourself what it is that you need. And once you're settled, you feel good, go ahead and close the eyes. And give yourself these moments to let it all sink in. And as we head into a new chapter and some new changes, challenges, and obstacles coming our way, can you remind yourself that in those times where things feel overwhelming, things feel too much, you're thinking too far ahead, can you stay in the present? Can you come back to your breath? I'm going to finish this morning's class by reading you a passage from the Radiance Sutras. The radiance of space permeates the body and all directions simultaneously. Space is always here, already here before you're noticing of it. What we call space is a presence, permission to exist, and worlds within which to express. Without thinking about it, without forming mental images, rest in this vast expanse, friends with infinity. So take as much time as you need here to rest, to soak it all in. And hopefully you can take some of this presence, of this mindfulness that you cultivate on the mat. Hopefully you can take that off into your day and into your week and into maybe the year ahead. Thank you so much for joining me. Namaste.